Welcome to Khel Now TV Indian Super League 2021-2022 tactical video series. Today we will take a look into how Bengaluru FC could possibly set up under their new head coach Marco Pezzaioli. In their 4 year of ISL history, Bengaluru FC reached playoff thrice except for the last season when they finished 7th in the table. However, they will be looking to get back to the winning ways this time around, considering all the changes that have occurred in terms of their squad and of course the head coach. Talking about head coach, Marco Pezzaioli replaces Spanish Carles Queiroz as the head coach this time around. He is an experienced coach with a vast experience of coaching in Europe and Asia. His latest stint before joining Bengaluru FC was with Bundesliga side Eintracht Frankfurt, where he served as a technical director. He already coached Bengaluru FC earlier this season while the AFC Cup playoff in the group stage which took place in Maldives. Speaking about his playing style, Pezzaioli believes in offensive, active football and combination of pressing and possession football. This is contrast of Carles Queiroz' cautious attacking approach, for which Spaniard was often criticized by the fans and the critics. Before moving ahead, let's take a glance at their squad for the upcoming Indian Super League season. Considering now there are only 4 foreigners are allowed in the playing 11 in Indian Super League, Bengaluru FC squad looks like to be a good mixture of young Indian players and experienced Indian players. And also they have replaced most of the foreigners who are the part of the club's history in last few years. Bengaluru FC have also promoted some good players from their youth ranks who have already shown the glimpse of their talent during the Durand Cup 2021. Bengaluru FC have signed some interesting foreigners for the upcoming season. Alongside, they have also brought in some Indian players from other ISL and I-League side in the form of Pratik Chaudhary, Sarthak Gulai, Vidyasagar Singh, Danish Farooq, and of course their academy, their youth teams have kept on providing them new options, and this season we have already seen in the Durand Cup the quality of the youth players coming through their ranks, and same youth players are promoted to the first team. We will see young players like Leon Augustine, Prague, Akashdeep, Bhutia, Prague, Roshan Singh in the upcoming Indian Super League season. Now let's talk about some key additions which they have done in their squad, starting with their foreign players. And first name on the list is their Brazilian centre back Alan Costa. Hailing from Brazil, he is a key replacement in the centre back position after the departure of Raul Beque and Juan Gonzalez. I personally feel that he will be their first choice alongside Pratik Chaudhary or their new foreign centre back Musaba King. He brings in vital experience from Brazilian Serie B, where he played for numerous clubs. Now let's talk about some numbers. Since 2019-20 season, Costa played 49 games, I think, which is good amount of game considering it just last 2 seasons. He also scored 5 goals, and I think as a centre back, Bengaluru FC will need that presence to score goals, which they had in past, and we have seen Bengaluru FC scoring goals from set pieces in past in Indian Super League and in I-League also. Now let's talk about his disciplinary record. In 49 games, he had just got 6 yellow cards and 1 red card. I think it's a decent record for a centre back, considering most of the time they are the last man in the defense, and if you make any bad tackles, you might face these yellow and red cards. Now let's talk about his passing and passing accuracy. He have completed 2,302 passes with a passing accuracy of 89%. I think which is good considering their new coach playing style. He doesn't want to keep a ball lot. I think he likes possession, but not the useless possession in their own half. So he wants his centre back to play the ball quickly, I think, which will suit Costa. Let's talk about some defensive stats. He have made 304 ball recoveries, which is good in the number of games if you compare with other centre back in the Indian Super League. All type of challenges, defensive, aerial and offensive challenges, he have made 500 challenges, attempted 508 challenges, and out of which 67% were the successful challenges, I think, which is another good numbers for the other centre back if you see in the league. Talking about aerial challenges, he have attempted 278 challenges, out of which 71% which was successful, which means that he will provide that cover in the defensive set piece and that threat in the offensive set piece to score goals. And I was talking about his tackles and his success rate. You know why he has got less number of cards if you compare the number of games he has played it. He has attempted 62 tackles, out of which 68% were the successful, and also made 278 interceptions. Next two foreigners are a bit confusing profile to me, if you ask me. This Bengaluru FC squad lacks creative player, and we will of course talk about their weakness in the later part. But the two foreigners which they have signed in the midfield, both are number 6, and you can say bit of advanced number 6, but both are primary positions in number 6, so which I'm surprised that why they have done it. But let's talk about them. Starting with Asian player Iman Basafa. He is Bengaluru FC final signing of the season. Hailing from Iran, he is a defensive midfielder with vast experience in the Iranian first and second division, though he is expected to play the defensive midfielder role which was earlier played by Eric Petalu. Although he does possess some attacking qualities, making those quick passes, can play in the final third also, but overall numbers, if you see, doesn't show that he can make that difference, in terms of goals and assists if you compare with other number 8 in the league. So he's primarily a number 6, and he age-wise he's just 29-year-old, so maybe that he will find Indian Super League compared to the Iran top league bit easier, and he can contribute more in the attack, and I think he will play that important role in the formation which the coach likes to play. He likes to have diamond of midfield, or sometimes three midfielder instead of just 2 midfielder like most of the other coaches in the league. So I think he will play a very important role, and there is not much any numbers to talk about for the goals and assists because he don't have much contribution compared to the other midfielders. But I think he will be playing for them on regular basis in the upcoming season. His partner in midfield is Brazilian Bruno Ramirez, and when initially I saw about this signing, I thought that he will be providing that creative threat from Bengaluru FC side. But when I dig deep into his numbers and watch some games which he played, he is also a primary and number 6. Bruno Ramirez brings along experience from Portuguese top league, where he's made 32 appearances for the club Beleza SAD. His signing is expected to bring some solidity in the team, especially in center midfield. Again, but his numbers also shows that he is not that creative playmaker type player. He is number 6 who can go and help in the attack. So let's dig more into his numbers now. Since 2019-20 season, he has made 51 appearances, scored just 3 goals with 0 assists, and he just created 6 chances in 51 matches. Passing wise, he has attempted 1019 passes, out of which 81% were accurate. Aerial challenges, I think he looks also good threat on the aerial balls. He have attempted 131 aerial challenges, out of which 62% were successful. Tackle wise, he will also have a good tackle success rate. He has attempted 99 tackles, 47% success rate. So both these players, Iman and Bruno, I think they are more of number 6. So now all the creative burden of Bengaluru FC will be on their Indian players. So we'll talk about the Indian players. Before talking about Indian players, let's talk about the key exclusion or key players who have left Bengaluru FC this season. So start with Eric Petalu, their Asian signing, who has been part of club's history for a while now, and both the parties decided to mutually part away after some controversy during the AFC Cup, which got cancelled in Maldives first, and where Eric Petalu, Juanan Gonzalez and the goalkeeping coach were allegedly made headlines when they broke the quarantine rules, and eventually AFC Cup got postponed. Since then, there was lots of rumors that both the parties will eventually part away, and it took some time in case of Eric, but now he has finally left Bengaluru FC, and I think his presence in midfield will be missed by Bengaluru FC, considering Eric has contributed in lots of goals for Bengaluru FC in past few seasons. Other than Eric, another player, Rahul Bheke, India international, has also left Bengaluru FC, joined his hometown club Mumbai City FC. I think his presence will also miss because he's one of the leader in that Bengaluru FC side in last few years, can play in multiple position, and he was a very handy option in the set piece with his long throw options. And I think now with, of course, they got Sarthak Gulai, Pratik Chaudhary in the squad, but I think with Rahul Bheke's expertise in different situations, he will be missed by Bengaluru FC in this upcoming season. Another defensive player, Juan Gonzalez, also left alongside Eric Patalo, after that controversy, and he has joined another Indian Super League side, Hyderabad FC. So this looks like a complete reboot in terms of foreigners, in terms of the squad, and I think this might be the first season where Bangalore FC build for their new success, because there's a new coach, new playing style, new foreigners, so it will be not that easy which people are thinking. So let's see how Bangalore FC and their coach Marco Pezzali can use their tactical flexibility to get success on the pitch. I have talked to various people close to the development, and they feel, various players at Bangalore FC feel, senior players feel that they have not seen any coach in Indian football who has come up with so much details in the training session. His tactical knowledge is very good. So I think ultimately they don't have any good playmaker in the squad, but if your overall tactics, overall your formation, the player roles can be done properly, you might not need a playmaker, because there are many coaches in the world football, in the Indian Super League also, who don't play with number 10 anymore, so it's number 10. I think world football wise, if you see, there are hardly any sides who play with number 10. Even say two biggest side in England nowadays, Liverpool and Manchester City, they don't even also play the traditional or number 10. They usually play 4-3-3 formation now. So I think that's what we will going to see with Marco also. Let's see. I think his primary formation is going to be 4-3-3. Which he has already used in the AFC Cup, which you can see on your screen, And I have picked Pratik Chaudhary and Costa as a centre back. You can see King also as a centre back. He's a left-footed guy, so he can play in place of Costa. But considering all the attributes and all the numbers and whatever I've seen till now, I feel that Costa will start. Sarthak Gulai is as a right back. He can also play the centre back. And I think left back they have a couple of options. There is Ajit Kumar. There is Roshan also. Ashik can play also there. Parag can play on both the wings. So I have selected a team which I think the Marco will select, because of he likes defensive solidity a lot, and he likes his team to press on the opponent half. So he will need these kind of players who can keep the shape also while pressing the opponent. In midfield, I have selected Iman and Bruno alongside Suresh Singh. I think Suresh Singh will be the player who will go up and down and try to create more and more goals for Bangalore FC. Left side, you have Sunil Chhetri. Up front, instead of Prince Ibarra, I have selected Silva, because considering that he selected Silva in the AFC Cup, we might see Silva starting ISL games first, and maybe if it doesn't do well, then you might see Prince Ibarra coming up front. On the right, I have kept trust on Udanta Singh. I think his form with the Indian team in recent game have shown that he's trying to come back to his best. So I think Udanta will provide the threat from right. So I think this is the shape here, 4-3-3. Now let's talk about the movement here. If you can see on your ball, if I say in the defensive third, if your defender has the ball, and if he plays with a defensive middle Iman, you will see Udanta Kuman making those, straight away vertical run on the wings, keeping the width, occupying the opponent left back, and trying to get this left sided centre back stretched to their Bangalore FC right side. And also you will see Sunil Chhetri, even as playing on paper as a left winger, he will be always in that midfield, in that number 10 kind of position where he can influence the game more. Of course, Silva will be threat up front, and then we will see Bruno Ramirez and Suresh Singh going up and down in the midfield. Here ball gets to the Iman, and then Iman play to Bruno Ramirez, and then you will see Chhetri making that movement as a number 10, and you will find Udanta Singh, Ajit Kumar on the wing, with Suresh Singh also providing a threat from right. We already seen Suresh Singh contributing lots of in the attacking play from that right side as a winger, not as a midfielder. So Suresh has that engine in him, and of course then you will use Sunil Chhetri as a threat, behind Silva, and then of course this will be Bruno Ramirez will also join in attack whenever he gets the opportunity. Being Brazilian, natural the game is with the natural game is with the flair, so he can show his skill. Of course, there is no past proof from stats that he can contribute in goal and assist, but considering he played at the top level of Brazil, he will have that skill in his locker, to contribute more and more in attack. So I think once they will get Silva on the roll, you will see Ramirez and Chhetri behind Silva and Suresh Singh providing that, attacking threat from the right side. And then there were 3 blocks where you can see Alan Costa, Iman and Pratik Chaudhary remaining behind. Then there will be a second block of Bruno Ramirez, Suresh Singh and Sarthak Gulai. You will not find Sarthak Gulai overlapping Udanta Singh, because Udanta Singh likes to hang on the line, instead of going inside. So you will find Sarthak Gulai covering for him, and because Ajit Kumar giving that threat from left hand side, of course that can be Roshan also, that can be Ashiq Qurain. So I have selected Ashiq Qurain in the second formation, but you will find the Bangalore FC left back will whoever played in that position doing more attacking work than the right back, and then of course they will depend on Chhetri and Silva to find that form to score goals. I think, as I said, they lack the traditional playmaker, but if tactically you can make a formation, or you can make your playing style in a way that you might not need a number 10 or a playmaker. So this is the one way to do it. In a similar setup, let's see that how they will defend. I have just also created a defensive scenario also from the same shape. Here you will see first that if they are attacking, and if they feel counter attack, I have just joined all the 3 midfielders. So this situation, if they feel the counter attacking, they lose possession, and then from the same blocks which I talk, then you'll find them getting back quickly, especially the centre back. They will be very, very narrow alongside Iman, and then they will Sarthak Gulai coming back very quickly, because he's not overlapping like Ajit Kumar has done, as we shown in the first part. And then of course you will see Suresh Singh and Bruno Ramirez coming back, with Sunil Chhetri and Udanta Singh also coming back on the wings and supporting the fullback. Silva also coming in, and that's the way he likes to do it. He likes his team to press opponent team on every loose touch, on whenever they lose the possession. So I think if you do that, you need to do it together. You need to do the blocks. There should be not much gap in between. Say if your center forward is pressing, whole team need to go together, and that's you already seen in the AFC Cup games. They like to press, and that was a very he didn't got much time to coach this team, but whatever I heard till now, that he provides lots of details in the training session. So I think pressing will be a very important part of his team. Winning that ball in the opponent half and then counter attack very quickly will also be important part. And he likes to keep a ball. It's not like that he's not going to keep the possession. He like to keep the ball, but meaningful possession in the final third instead of their own half. So this is the first formation which I think that they can play. Now let's move towards the second formation, which I think he can play is 4-4-2 diamond, which is already done in the AFC Cup, and I have make some personal changes here. Ashiq Qurain I have brought in because you're not playing traditional wingers in this both sides, so you will need somebody like Ashiq Qurain to give that width and threat from the wing. Up front you have Sunil Chhetri, Selton Silva, and that also what I have done is brought in Jayesh Rane in place of Udanta to be part of that diamond. And Jayesh Rane is there, one of the new signing again, who has done well in the TK Mohun Bagan setup last year in the similar kind of setup, not in diamond but in the midfield. So you can see as diamond is already connected and they have to do together. So whenever they get ball, you will see Sunil Chhetri, Selton Silva be together there. Sunil Chhetri dropping deep, Silva going up front, and in the meantime you will find Ashiq Qurain using his pace to go inside the box. We have seen him in that role for Bangalore FC in past, and making sure that diamond they remain intact, provide width whenever needed. Suresh Singh will provide that width. Jayesh Rane will cover for Ashiq Qurain from the left side whenever going ahead, and also help in the attacking play. And then you will find Jayesh Rane, and you can see the ending block here with Jayesh Rane, Sarthak Gulai making the second block, and the first block is for this Pratik Chaudhary, Iman Bastaya and Alan Costa. Up front you will find this might be more attacking for them, because you will have Ashiq Qurain on a box, Suresh Singh on the right hand side box also, and Silva, Chhetri and Bruno Ramirez. So I think these two formation, because he likes to have his midfield very solid, that's why the two midfield signing they have done this season, they have more or like a number 6. Suresh Singh has better attacking return in last 2 seasons if you compare with both the midfielders they have signed, foreign midfielders. So I think they will like to keep it very tight, formation wise, block wise, and then press the opponent team and try to keep the ball and use of course they have Sunil Chhetri, Selton Silva, Udanta, Ashiq Qurain, Vidyasagar Singh, Leon Augustine. These are good attacking experience and young players, so I think that will make difference. And of course, they somebody like Edmund Alandika, they also have who can play that playmaker role. But I think he will play this 4-3-3 and 4-4-2 role, 4-4-2 formation more and more. I am not seeing him playing with number 10 or that kind of formation. So I think we'll see him using this 4-4-2 and 4-3-3 formation. Unlike last season, in the key players, if you ask for Bengaluru FC, we might have all selected Sunil Chhetri or their Rahul Bekes and the foreigners. This time around, because I'm not seeing enough threat from the foreign players, especially in midfield, I personally feel the young Indian players will come handy for them, and we already seen in Durand Cup the quality of the young Indian players, in the AFC Cup also. And so my key players to watch, instead of course, I could have picked Sunil Chhetri, easy picked, but I have gone to the different because I just want to also highlight some Indian players, their numbers, what they have done till now in their career, so that they also feel confident if they say this. If they're not, I think fans will feel confident about them. So starting with the key players to watch, I have kept Leon Agustin as the first. I think attacking midfielder, you can call him, can play on both the wings, can play up front also, and as a number 10 also has been a standout player for Bengaluru FC in the reserve team, in the senior team in last now nearly 12 to 16 months, and also he did very well in the Durand Cup for them. Since his debut in the last season against ATK Mohun Bagan in ISL, he has shown enough potential that to become a regular starter in this Blues playing 11, and I think he can play any position up front, so that helps him. And he would be a great option for Marco in place of Udanta Singh if he need any option from right, and he can play from left also. Since 2019-20 season, he has played 20 games. Of course, came recently only, but already scored 5 goals, 3 assists, and and with just expected goals of 3.1 shows that he's a good finisher also. And these 20 games, he came from bench, didn't started many games. So I think this is the season where you will see Leon Agustin playing more. Of course, I have not selected him in these my tactical formations because I went with the option I think he will go. But while the season goes, I think he will play a very important role for Bengaluru FC. Now, as I have said multiple times in this video, they don't have a traditional number 10, or their foreign players are not that creative. They are traditional number 6. So from midfield, Suresh Singh, India international, who has done very well in the SAF Championship, semi-final, final in the last group stage matches, already playing for India under-23 in the AFC under-23 Asian Cup qualifiers. So I think he will be the important man for Bengaluru FC in the midfield because of the energy he provided in that midfield, and also the way Marco played. He likes his team to press a lot. So I think Suresh Singh has that engine in him to go up and down regularly in that midfield. He also won 2020-21 Emerging Player of the Year award. He also won 2020-21 AFF Emerging Player of the Award. That shows the potential this lad has, and I think he will be very crucial in the midfield because considering there is no traditional number 10 in the team, and already full India international, won the SAF Championship 2021, so that shows his quality, that what kind of qualities this lad has. I think to quickly start the attacks, one of the key attributes he has in his tank, in which he has lots of energy, of course, to go up and down on the pitch. Let's talk about numbers. As I touched upon earlier, while I was talking about the Iman and Bruno, that his Suresh attacking return has been better than both those midfielders. And if you see those numbers, those justify that. Since 2019-20 season, he has played 46 games. I think considering that he's just 21, so already played 46 games in 2 seasons is good, very good for him. He scored 2 goals, provided 3 assists, and during those 46 games, he created 16 chances. And it's not that he just have engine inside him, he is very safe passer also, attempted 1,244 passes, out of which 84% were the successful, and goals, assists, 2 goals, 3 assists aside, he's also attempted 144 tackles with 61% of accuracy, which is very good in the midfield. He could have more assists. I think his expected assist is 3.9. I think he should have around 4 assists if they were the attacker would have finished the chances he has created. So I think this season we might see his attacking output going to the higher level. I will personally hope that he will have at least 3 to 4 goals or at least 5 to 6 assists in the upcoming season for Bengaluru FC. Third player in the list is Sarthak Gulai. He has not played much for Bengaluru FC, but he already have a lot of senior football experience while playing with Mumbai City FC and Pune City FC in ISL. Sarthak Gulai will provide the cover as a right back, and he can play as a centre back also. And the role which Rahul Beke played for them in past where he can play the right back and play the centre back, will be fulfilled by Sarthak Gulai in upcoming season for Bangalore FC. And we have seen that him providing that assist in the AFC Cup against Mazia, and that shows that he has that potential to play as the fullback and provide those attacking return whenever he get opportunity. I think till now, whenever I've seen his games in past, he has played as a reserved kind of attacking, reserved kind of a fullback, not as a fullback who goes to the byline and put the crosses. So let's see if he can, eventually get those assists up as a fullback if he plays for Bangalore FC. Talking about his numbers, since 2019-20, he has played 29 games, scored 2 goals, provided 1 assist, attempted 1,239 passes, out of which 76% were successful. A defensive challenge, attempted aerial, ground, all possible defensive challenge, attempted 237 challenges, out of which 64% was successful. 99 tackles attempted, 65% successful. And the reason I'm saying that he could be a good attacking fullback, also the dribbles, he not attempted much, 23 dribbles, which nearly less than 1 dribble per game, but out of which 74% was successful, which shows that he has that quality to dribble whenever get opportunity. So I think that's the part of his game which he need to develop this more season. He just got 1 assist, but his expected assist is 3.7, so I think he should have around 4 assists. It's just that the chances he created, the attacking player, they never able to convert those chances. Let's talk about youngsters to watch out for. I think this is my favorite part of doing these videos, to research about upcoming Indian players, to see what these young players are doing, and then of course I goes back after the season to watch again that which players I picked and what they have done this season. This season we have done something very similar. Bangalore FC have lots of upcoming young Indian players. So my first pick, which is very popular and became fan favorite, is Shiva Shakti Narayan. Shiva Shakti has shown his goal scoring capabilities for Bangalore FC in the Durand Cup. Before that, he was also perfectly goal scorer in the BDFA Super Division, and whenever he got limited chance in last 6 months, he has done well for Bangalore FC, impressed fans and all the experts around up with his goal scoring abilities. There were some many people think that he should have been called up for the India Under-23 team, which eventually didn't happen, but I think this season he will have chance to perform well and get those national team call up, even youth team or the senior team. We never know, considering that national teams have lack of goal scorer, so he might be that one option if he continues his goal scoring form in the upcoming Indian Super League. He might not be a regular starter this season, but I think whenever he will get chance from bench or whenever he get chance, he will very prove handy for Bangalore FC for upcoming season. And let's talk about numbers. There is not much to speak about. He just played 7 games. Most of the games were also initially from the bench, but already scored 4 goals, also created 12 chances, and his expected goals is around 3 and 4, which shows that he's a good finisher. Also he should have at least 2 assists, I think, with the expected assist around 1.85. Again, the finishers have not shown their quality while the chances created by him. So I think Shiva Shakti can be one of the option, if he plays regularly, can be one of the option for the emerging player of the year award. But I think considering the talent Bangalore FC have from in their squad, in the attacking position, in Indian players, Ashik, Udanta, Sunil Chhetri, I think it will not easy for him to get regular play time, but I think whenever he gets chance, I think he will provide a goal scoring threat for Bangalore FC. Another young player is watch out on Norim Roshan Singh. I think left back is a department where Bangalore FC have struggled in recent time. We have seen they had Subhashish Bose earlier. We have seen Ashik Kurain player there. They have signed an Ajit from Chennai City FC. Eventually, they still not find that you can say ultimate option or first choice left back. We might see Ajit playing, we might see Ashik playing, and we might see Parag playing, we might see Norim Roshan Singh playing in that role. Norim Roshan Singh provides something very different, which their traditional left back like Ajit or Parag doesn't provide. Like Ashik, he can be very handy option playing from the left back, helping in attacks and helping in defense also. Unlike Ashik, he has those defensive capabilities inside him, which will make him a suitable option as a left back. But still very young player. I am not seeing him starting lots of game, but I think considering this season will be very, there is not much space for recovery and all. If the coach likes to press a lot, so which means there will be some tiredness after game or two. So I think whenever he want to fresh up that left back position, I think Norim Roshan Singh will be the big and important option for him in that position. Last player in the list is Lara Sharma. If you see the history of Bengaluru FC in last few years, they always have somebody, experienced Indian goalkeeper, to help Gurpreet Singh Sandhu in that goalkeeping department. This season they didn't need that because they had Lara Sharma coming from their youth ranks, and Lara Sharma has done very well in the Durand Cup. I think looks like a very solid goalkeeper. I think he will learn a lot from Gurpreet Singh Sandhu. He will not play this season, I know, but I just wanted to showcase the work he has done in the Durand Cup and the trust which Bengaluru FC staff and the management has shown him by not signing another experienced second choice goalkeeper to cover for Gurpreet Singh Sandhu if he get injured or something happens to him. So I think that shows the qualities Lara Sharma has, and I think these youngsters will make Bengaluru FC. I'm not hoping that they will be a title challenging team, but I think considering the coach, what I've heard about coach and his style and his training methods and his philosophy, I think they have a good team, good squad to build the base for upcoming season where they can get lots of success. So I think what I'm hoping from this season is to challenge for top 4 place for sure. Considering they came 7th last season, I think the first target for the coach will be to challenge for top 4 places, to see that if his team can score goals, because Bengaluru FC have struggled for goals in last 2 seasons. So I think for that, he of course has Sunil Chhetri, Udanta Ashik in terms of Indian options, but he has Silton Silva, Prince Ibarra as a foreign options also. So I think he need to find a balance of his playing style and using these players, because many of these players were already there in the club, and he has signed, of course, the new foreigners have come under his rank. So I think he need to find a balance between all these players and hope for the Bengaluru FC can challenge for those top 4 spots in upcoming Indian Super League season. This time around, we have a new section in these videos, that is weakness of the team. So I think there is, of course, the coach, his experience, his playing style is one side, but still I feel that there is no creative midfielder in this team. I think in the whole team, the best creative player they have is Suresh Jayesh Rane, you can say. I think they will need somebody like Bruno Ramirez to step up his game, do something which he has not done in his career till now, to create goals, to contribute in attacking play. So I personally feel they could have gone for a bit more attacking option instead of signing Iman or Bruno. They could have signed one of them and then sign up number 8 who has contributed in the goals, in his career in past. So I think that's one major weakness. Another thing, of course, interrelated with this is they are heavily dependent on the Indian players for the creativity, either from flanks as a left back or right back, or on the wings in the form of Sunil Chhetri, Udanta or Ashik. So I think it's good that they're dependent on Indian players, but sometimes you need that quality, and that's what I think they are missing. And another thing is which Bengaluru FC always struggled since the transfer of Miku, is to get that big number 9, big profile number 9 striker, which now every ISL team have. If you see, somebody like FC Goa, Kerala Blaster, Mumbai City FC, even Hyderabad FC this season, everybody have made their transfer accordingly, get that first centre forward, the main big profile centre forward. I'm not saying that centre forward they are bad. They have good centre forward, but sometimes you need that big profile centre forward who will guarantee you at least 10 goals, in the league. I think they are missing that. Silva might score some goals, Prince Ibarra might score some goals, but you can't, going into season, you can't think that they will at least provide them 10 goals with somebody like Adam Lefondre, Koro, Ogbeche, last season Igor Ingalo. These names, we knew that they will score at least 10 goals going into the season. So I think they could have signed one of these prolific number 9, big CV, big profile, which will have guaranteed them 10 goals. And then of course you have Sunil Chhetri or Udanta, Ashik, Suresh Singh, these players chipping with the goals would have helped them. Now they are heavily dependent on the Indian players and hoping that either of Silva or Prince Ibarra can get them goals. That's it. I hope you guys have liked this video. Let me know what you think about Bengaluru FC, their chances, the young players, which formation you think they will go for. Who will be young players to watch out from your side, where they will finish in the table. I'm hoping that they will at least fight for the playoff spot. I think that should be the target for their new head coach. And let's see what they do in the upcoming season. We will see you again in the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.